Hello English 102 students, it's Mr. Flynn here again, and for this video I just want to show you guys what to do for your short writing assignment number 2 this week, which is your peer review for your first major writing assignment. So I'm just going to go through real quickly and show you guys what to do just in case you're a little bit confused about the instructions. So the first thing you have to do, and that's by Wednesday at 11:30 p.m., is to post a draft of your essay as your what would normally be your initial post or your initial response to the topic. This time you're just going to post a draft of your essay to the discussion forum. So the first step is actually really easy. All you have to do is go to our discussions area. Find that discussion forum. And I'm in the wrong class. So let's go to our online class where our peer review is online. And here we go, short writing assignment 2, genre analysis peer review. So like I said, the first thing you have to do is post a draft of your essay to the discussion forum. So all I'm going to do is start a new thread like I normally would, put in a title, okay? One other thing is that you have to put something in this text box here or else it's not going to work. So you can't just put a title on your thread, upload your drafts, and then be done with it. It's going to give you an error message, and basically what that error message is telling you is that something has to be put in this box here. So I'm going to say something like, I appreciate your comments. Okay, now I've got something in that box, so it'll upload. And then I'm going to go down here below the text box and say add attachments. And from here I can either drag my file into this little dotted area, or I can hit the upload button, find my draft on my computer wherever it's located. It's right here. And then I'm going to post it to the forum. And then if I go back here, I see, if I scroll down a little bit, here we go, at the very bottom, I see that I have my thread here with my draft posted. And if you want to go back and find out if you posted your drafts or if it went through, you can always go up here to the search box and search by your last name, and it should pull up the thread that you posted. See, here we go. So that's the first part, which is really easy. Your initial post with your drafts for peer review, and it should be a complete draft. So we're not talking just a couple paragraphs or one page. It should be a pretty complete draft so that there's enough there for your peers to comment on and give you good feedback on. The next step is to provide feedback for 2 of your peers. The instructions on what to do are up here in the forum instructions. I won't go over those in detail because you can go back and read them on your own. But I will show you what to do as far as with the technology and the word processor and what to do in the forum and everything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one of my peers to comment on, and I'll just download my own original essay again for the sake of the example. All I have to do is go find that attachment and click on it to download it to my computer. And now I've got an essay that was written by one of my peers that I can review. If I open it up, and I'm going to say enable editing, and then I'm just going to read through and provide comments from my peer based on the instructions in the forum. Now there's a couple ways that you can provide feedback for your peers. One good way is by using the commenting features or the review features in Microsoft Word. So if I go up here to this tab that says review and click on it, maybe I see the title here. Well, there's a title, but maybe it's not very interesting. So maybe I highlight this and I go up to my review tab and say new comment. And I can say what I want to say about that particular aspect of the essay. So I could say this title shows the topic but doesn't draw the reader in. Try to make the title more interesting. Okay. Other aspects that I might want to comment on. Now you see, once I go away from that, I can go back to that little thought bubble here and see the comments. Other things. So remember, it's okay to point out things that are related to grammar, editing, proofreading. That's okay to point out, but the main focus of the peer review is to talk about those bigger issues like the thesis or the introduction. Is the introduction interesting? Does it clearly introduce the topic? Is there a clear thesis? Are the body paragraphs well developed? Is there enough evidence to convince the reader of the point that you're making? Is the conclusion there, and is it neatly tying things up? Those are the big things that we're looking for, and that's really what these instructions here in the forum get to. So that's what we want to be commenting on mostly, is things like the introduction, the thesis, the developments, the topic sentences, etc. So what I'm saying here is, don't just comment on proofreading and editing things, comment on revision things as well. That's what I'll be looking for when I'm grading your responses. Not just proofreading and editing, but revision stuff too. And so I can do the same thing if I wanted to comment on the thesis, for example. I just go to New Comment and write in my comments. Okay. So if I didn't like the thesis, I might say, this thesis is a little vague. What exactly do you want to argue about your topic? Okay. So as far as the types of comments you write, another thing that I'm looking for when it comes to your grade is comments that are specific, helpful. Think about that PowerPoint that I assigned you guys to look at before doing the peer review. The comments should be like that, so specific, helpful, and detailed enough so that the writer can go back and revise with some clear information. We don't want to just say, I like this or I don't like this. We should say why we like it or why we don't like it, and if we don't like it, something specific that they can do to improve it. Okay? So that's the comments that I'm going to be looking for. So please be detailed and specific when you make comments. Also, there should be some fairly substantial commenting. I don't want to see just 1 or 2 comments in the whole essay. There should be several, at least 5. More is always encouraged. But you should definitely be commenting fairly substantially. So I would say you should be able to find something to say, whether it be needed revision or whether it be you're doing this well in every paragraph. Other things that I can do, if I did want to do something related to proofreading and editing, I might go here to where it says show markup. And when I say show markup, I'm sorry, not show markup, track changes. When I go to track changes, it's going to show everything that I changed. So if I go in here and I say take this out, well, now it's going to show in the final draft that that was taken out. And I need to go to show markup here to show that. There we go. And there's a good tech tip for you right there. If you're not seeing everything that you think you're supposed to be seeing, make sure you go up here and say all markup. Because for some reason with the newer versions of Word, the default setting is not to show all markup. Okay, so now it's showing me that I did a strike through on this sentence right here, basically saying that you should take that part out. Or if I wanted to change the word, so it's all going to show up in red, things that I type in place. So those are 2 ways that you can comment on your peers' drafts, using the comments feature, using the track changes feature. So again, as you're reading, we want revision comments, not just proofreading and editing comments. We want substantial commenting, so make sure that you have plenty of things to say, not just 1 or 2 things to say. Okay? I could also type in comments at the end of the paragraph here, so you should there you go. I wrote a comment, and now I can see clearly in red that somebody put a comment right there. So that's another thing that I can do. You would definitely want to provide a little bit more specific detail, but I won't do that for the sake of the example. Okay? Once I'm done commenting on my peer's essay, I have to give my peer the feedback that I prepared for them. In order to do that, all you have to do is save this essay onto your computer. So I'm going to go to Save As, find a place to save it. I might want to change the title a little bit, so that way we can keep track of different versions of files. So I might just say Review. Maybe even reviewed by my last name. Okay? Now I know that there's a difference between the original file that I downloaded and the file that I put my comments on. That's really important so that you don't accidentally upload a file with no comments on it. I'm going to hit save, exit out of this, and now I have to post it to the forum so that my peer can see the comments that I made for them. So I'm just going to go back to my peer's original post. I'm going to click on the title right there and reply to thread like I normally would. Again, you have to put something in this box right here. Then I'm going to add my attachment. Where did it go? Is it downloads? Yeah. There we go. And then I hit post, and it's all done. So really, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is post a draft of your essay, review the drafts of 2 of your peers, make sure that you're providing comments that are specific and detailed enough so that they can use them when they make their revisions. A couple more tech things might be a good idea. I personally recommend saving it as a PDF rather than a Word document. That way your peer can see all of your comments. Okay, so if I go to my downloads and I open this back up again, if I want to save this as a PDF, all I have to do is go to Save As. So I go to File, Save As, find where I want to save it, and then I'm going to say here where it says Save As Type, if I just choose PDF, it'll save it as a PDF. And that way, like I said, we don't have to mess with the commenting features or anything like that. Your peer can see all the comments right there when they save it as a PDF and you post it as a PDF. So I would recommend doing that. Again, if you can't see all the comments and you think you should be seeing more comments, when you go to review, just make sure that that all markup there is checked under the tracking, and anything that you haven't seen before, you should be able to see now. Okay, so I think that pretty much sums it up, and hopefully that answers most of the questions that you have about doing the peer review. Oh, again, one more thing, and I don't want you to forget about this. And in fact, I'm going to go back here to where I replied. I'm going to say Edit Post, because one thing that I forgot to mention is that I also want you guys to provide a summary of your comments when you reply to your peer. Okay? So we don't want just a simple sentence that says, here are some comments. We also want to summarize the comments, because sometimes if a draft has a lot of comments on it, that may be overwhelming to the student. They're not quite sure where to start or quite sure what exactly they should work on. So you really want in your summary to give them 1 or 2 areas specifically that they should work on as they're revising. So I might just say, hello Brian, I really enjoyed reading your essay. You did a good job making it personal and coming through with your voice as a writer. You should work on a clearer thesis that makes a clear argument. That's the kind of thing I mean about a summary of your comments. So, and again, about 50 to 75 words in this box right here, summarizing your comments. So, in addition to posting your draft, in addition to providing clear, specific comments, the third thing I'm going to be looking for when I give you guys a grade for this is whether you provided comments on the draft of the essay itself, right here, as well as a summary in this box here as you post back to them. Okay? So those 2 things, summary and specific comments on the draft. Those are the 2 things I'm going to be looking for when I grade this. Okay, so now hopefully that answers most of your questions about this assignment. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to email me or stop by during office hours. and happy reviewing.